The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a history of tensions and struggle. The ongoing conflict between Jewish people and Palestinians is one of the most complex and long-standing disputes in modern history. While it is often perceived as a religious or ethnic conflict, its roots are largely political, tied to historical events, territorial disputes, and national identity. The struggle over the land known as Israel and Palestine has led to wars, displacement, and decades of unresolved tensions. Understanding the history behind this conflict is crucial to recognizing the deep-seated grievances and the challenges that continue to hinder peace efforts today. Historical claims and early tensions. Both Jewish and Palestinian Arab populations have deep historical and cultural ties to the land. Jewish history in the region dates back thousands of years, with ancient Israel and Judea serving as the homeland for the Jewish people. However, after the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 CE by the Romans, many Jews were forced into diaspora, spreading across different parts of the world. Meanwhile, the region continued to be home to various civilizations, including Arab communities that later became the modern Palestinian population. For centuries, Jews and Arabs coexisted under different empires, including the Islamic caliphates and the Ottoman Empire. However, tensions began to rise in the late 19th and early 20th centuries with the emergence of Zionism, a movement that sought to establish a Jewish homeland in response to rising anti-Semitism in Europe. As Jewish immigration to Palestine increased, particularly under British rule after World War I, Arab resentment grew. Many Palestinian Arabs saw this immigration as a threat to their land, livelihoods, and national aspirations. British Mandate and the Partition Plan. Following World War I, Britain took control of Palestine under the League of Nations mandate system. This period saw growing hostilities between Jewish and Arab communities as both sought control over the land. Britain attempted to manage these tensions but struggled to satisfy both sides. The situation intensified after the Holocaust, as global sympathy for Jewish refugees increased, leading to further calls for a Jewish homeland. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan, which aimed to divide Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem designated as an international city. Jewish leaders accepted the plan, seeing it as an opportunity to establish the State of Israel. However, Arab leaders rejected it, viewing it as an unfair division that favored Jewish immigrants over the indigenous Arab population. This rejection set the stage for further violence. The 1948 War and Palestinian displacement. On May 14, 1948, Israel declared its independence. Almost immediately, neighboring Arab states, including Egypt, Jordan, and Syria, launched an attack, leading to the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. Despite being outnumbered, Israel emerged victorious, securing more territory than the UN partition had originally granted. However, this victory came at a significant human cost. For Palestinians, this war is remembered as the Nakba, or catastrophe, as more than 700,000 Palestinians were displaced from their homes, becoming refugees. Many fled to neighboring countries or to the West Bank and Gaza, where they and their descendants continue to live in refugee camps. This displacement created long-lasting resentment, as many Palestinians still demand the right to return to their ancestral homes. Wars, occupation, and continued struggles. The tensions did not end in 1948. Over the following decades, multiple wars erupted between Israel and its Arab neighbors, including the Six-Day War in 1967, during which Israel captured the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and East Jerusalem. These territories remain at the heart of the conflict today. Israel's control over these areas has led to allegations of occupation, as Palestinian communities face restrictions, land confiscations, and military control. Meanwhile, Israeli settlement expansion in the West Bank has further inflamed tensions. Palestinians seek independence, while Israel argues that security concerns justify its continued presence. Palestinian resistance and Israeli security measures. In response to Israeli occupation, Palestinian nationalist movements, including the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, and later Hamas, have sought to fight back. Some groups have resorted to violent attacks, including suicide bombings and rocket strikes, targeting Israeli civilians. In return, Israel has responded with military operations, airstrikes, and security barriers, leading to devastating civilian casualties on both sides. Two major Palestinian uprisings, known as the First and Second Intifadas, 1987 to 1993, 2000 to 2005, saw mass protests, clashes, and waves of violence, further deepening animosity. Israel's security measures, such as checkpoints, blockades on Gaza, and the construction of a separation barrier, have been criticized for restricting Palestinian freedom and worsening economic hardship. However, Israel argues that these measures are necessary to prevent terrorist attacks. The ongoing struggle for peace. Despite numerous attempts at peace negotiations, including the Oslo Accords, 1993, and other diplomatic efforts, a lasting resolution has remained elusive. Both Israelis and Palestinians have suffered immense loss, leading to deep distrust between the two communities. Key unresolved issues include the future of Jerusalem, the fate of Palestinian refugees, Israeli security concerns, and the establishment of a sovereign Palestinian state. Many on both sides desire peace, but political divisions, leadership struggles, and external influences make a resolution difficult. The cycle of violence, fueled by historical grievances and modern-day conflicts, continues to shape the reality of millions living in the region. Conclusion. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is not a simple battle of religious or ethnic hatred. It is a deeply rooted political struggle shaped by history, territorial disputes, and competing national identities. Both Jewish and Palestinian communities have suffered tremendous loss, and their narratives reflect the pain of a century-long dispute. Understanding the history behind this conflict is essential in moving toward a future where peace, justice, and coexistence can be achieved. However, until a fair and lasting solution is reached, the conflict will remain one of the most challenging disputes in modern history.